Most workout programs are going to contain a main focus exercise, an exercise A, a lift number one, etc., etc. If you are writing your own programming or following the programming of someone else, it's important to identify what the focus of the workout is. Because then during your warm up, you are able to include certain things that might be able to improve ranges of motion or warming up tissue specific areas prior to your lift. After a general elevation of heart rate, I start with my specific warm up, in this case, full shoulder CARs, or controlled articular rotations. The purpose of performing these is to bring my full shoulder joint through its full active range of motion to warm up and activate all of those tissues. Now, a quick reminder is that my palms facing forward is supination, while my palms facing backwards is pronation here. When raising my pronated arm into shoulder extension, you can see that the angle very closely matches the same angle that you experience in the bottom of a chest dip. I then rotate out of that extension and bring my arm back overhead to starting position. To show a full rep through from the beginning, I start with a supinated arm, crossing up overhead as far as I can go, before pronating my arm and reaching it back around behind me. I then lift my arm into extension, rotate it up towards the top, passing my head once more before landing back down at the side. Now, a more advanced way of warming up my shoulder in shoulder extension for the chest dips I'm about to perform is this exercise right here. Shoulder extension liftoffs are a great way to prime and warm up the muscles and range of motion that we're about to experience in the bottom position of a chest dip. You can see me here finding a nice stable position. I want to place my fist elevated to the side while keeping my back squared. What this does is puts one of my arms in the position that it would be at the bottom of a dip. Now, once I'm in this position, I am going to try and actively lift my fist off of the pad, extend it, and then return it back to its resting position. What this is doing is contracting all the muscles that pull my arm into further extension, and then I'm hovering it there while I control it. Once again, this position is very, very similar to that bottom position in the dip, and this is why it works so effectively as a warm-up for this type of exercise. I do about 3 sets of 5 reps each side with this, but it's really more so going to a point of feel, where I feel that I've actively warmed up the muscles. Now it's time to get into the actual dip workout. In this workout today, I'm doing 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps with a 4-second eccentric tempo. I want to make good use of the extra range of motion I opened up in the bottom of the dip, and so by using this slow eccentric tempo, I make sure that I really own that time under tension. Now, the eccentric portion of the lift might also be known as the negative portion of the lift by some people. And this typically involves the lengthening of the working muscle. So in this case, we're focusing on the chest. As you get deeper into the range of motion with the dip, you will find that these tissues are being stretched further into the bottom, whereas then the positive range of motion, where you're lifting yourself back up to the top, would be labeled the concentric portion of the lift. Now, eccentric portions of the lift are typically thought of as higher injury rate. And this is simply because you can handle more weight lowering than you can positively lift. And so there's more risk of overloading yourself and potentially overloading your structure as well. However, along with this understanding of potential risk in emphasizing the eccentric of a lift, you also have a lot of benefits as well. The eccentric portion of the lift is actually where a majority of muscle breakdown occurs. And this is a lot room to rebuild that muscle tissue then as well. Personally, the reason why I emphasize the eccentrics in my own training program currently is for the beneficial effects that it shows on the orderly laying down of collagen in tendon and connective tissue growth. And since my focus is mainly on structural adaptation of rebuilding connective tissues and a teeny bit of hypertrophy using an exercise lift tempo that emphasizes the eccentric portion of the lift is ideal for me. In the case today with doing the ring dips, a big portion of this lift comes from extreme shoulder extension. And so because of that, I decided to make my pre-lift warm-up exercises and movement prep that reflects what I'm actually going to be doing in the lift. By improving my acute shoulder extension prior to beginning this lift, I'm able to increase the active range of motion that I can train in. By being able to train in a larger range of motion, I'm able to activate and stretch my chest even further to get either additional connective tissue adaptations or additional hypertrophy, muscle growth as well. Not to mention the fact that this will also drastically reduce your risk of injury doing exercises because you are improving the range of motion in which you can actively contract your musculature rather than just letting the weight of your body rip you into a range of motion that you have relatively little control over otherwise. Try giving this warm-up a shot before the next time that you do chest dips, or additionally, look at your own workout programs and think about what movements can I incorporate that prepare my body for the range of motion and stresses that I'm about to put it under. Thanks for watching the video this week, and as always, happy training, and I look forward to seeing you back with another new video next week.